Okay, so for our next topic, it is entitled Cultural Competence Training. So for the learning objectives, define cultural competence and its importance, identify different training approaches, apply best practices in cross-cultural interactions. So first is let's define cultural competence. So I believe we already discussed this in a previous presentation. So how do you define once again what is cultural competence? So if you still remember on our previous discussion, we mentioned the framework of uh, what do you call this? Professor Kapinha Bacote, her model. So it is about cultural competence. So what do we mean when we say cultural competence? Mhm. Okay, so when we say cultural competence, once again, it is the ability to understand, respect, and effectively interact with people from diverse culture or cultural backgrounds. In short, it is your competencies or it is your ability, it is your knowledge on how are you going to work hand in hand or collaborate with different cultural backgrounds. Paano ka makikihalubilo, makikisama, mag makikipag exchange of ideas or thoughts during your job roles and responsibilities in the workplace. Okay, so 'di ba merong iba't ibang cultural competence na na-discuss in the previous lesson. We have cultural knowledge, cultural awareness, cultural immersion, cultural desire. So those are some of the cultural competence that you have to remember. Okay? So now, we already discussed cultural competence. Now, ano naman ibig sabihin pag sinabi nating cultural competence training? Okay, so pag sinabi nating cultural competence training, it is a structured program designed to help individuals and organizations to develop the skills, knowledge, and attitudes necessary to interact respectfully and effectively with people from diverse cultural background. In short, these are trainings or strategies that various organizations are doing in order for them to enhance and develop the skills and capabilities of their employees, okay, or individuals to achieve a respectful and inclusive collaboration from one person to another with different backgrounds. Okay, so that's what we call cultural competence training. Now, what are the goals of cultural competence training? Bakit ba tayo nagpapatraining? Or bakit ba tayo nagsasagawa ng mga trainings when it comes to cultural competence? So, ano yung mga goal nun? Una, syempre, to increase awareness of cultural diversities and personal bias. Okay? So, para malaman natin or magkaroon tayo ng mas malawak na kaalaman, okay, from the different perspectives of different people from diverse background. Malaman natin kung ano ba yung way of life nila, yung mga behavior nila, yung needs nila, yung wants nila, yung preferences nila, para magamit natin um, when it comes to workplace. Okay? Mas maging aware tayo on how are we going to properly act, properly behave, okay? When we encountered those kinds of what do you call this, cultures. Next, it also build knowledge about cultural traditions, values, and communication styles. So in our previous discussions, diba, we discussed prejudices and biases, stereotyping, the different cultures, values, and communication styles of people from different part of the world. So lagi nating tatandaan na bawat isa sa atin ay may pinanggalingang kultura, mga nakasanayang gawain. Okay? Mga nakasanayang tradisyon. And all of us have different perspectives about that. So, we conduct training para mas maging in-depth pa tayo or mas marami pa tayong matutunan. Ano ba yung mga tamang approaches? Okay? When it comes to this kind of values, traditions, and communication styles. Next, it strengthens our skills for effective cross-cultural interaction and collaboration. Kapag alam natin on how people behave, on how people communicate, on how people act then mas magkakaroon tayo ng stronger collaboration and interaction kasi hindi tayo mahihiya or hindi tayo matatakot na mag-build ng relationship sa kanila because we know how their culture is working. And lastly, it promotes inclusive attitudes that value and respect differences. So sa workplace, if we are conducting trainings when it comes to cultural competence, one of these goals is um, to make sure that each and everybody in that organization is valuing and respecting the differences of one another. Okay, so these are the goals of cultural competence training. Next, what are the components of cultural competence training? Okay, ano ba yung mga ginagawa nating different types or kinds of cultural competence training para mas mapalawak at mas mapataas pa natin yung kaalaman natin when it comes to culture. So we have four workshops and seminars. We also do role-playing exercise, case studies, and group discussion. So the first one is seminars, workshops, and lectures. So ito yung mga learning sessions where participants are introduced to cultural competence, diversity issues, and importance of inclusivity. One of the best example of this, if you are familiar to TED Talks or the TEDx, so yun ay isang example ng cultural competence training kasi may mga topics or lectures sila doon when it comes to cultural competency. Okay? Because they are allowing the audience, okay, to listen and absorb all of the learnings when it comes to cultural competencies. Another example is onboarding training. 'Di ba? Syempre pag na-hire kayo, hindi naman agad-agad ay alam nyo na yung mga rules and regulations, yung culture ng isang organization. That's why meron muna kayong onboarding training. And dun sa onboarding training, the facilitators or the company is allowing you to absorb, okay, all of the information that you need to uh, take in consideration before you start the actual job. And it is allowing you to prepare, okay, of the things that you need to prepare, okay, before the actual job responsibilities. Okay, so that's one of the example of seminar, workshops, and lectures. Next is role-playing activity. So, I believe most of you naman nakaranas na, 'di ba, ng role-playing activity. So, when we say role-playing activities, it is a simulated real-life situations to practice handling cultural differences. So, in short, meron kayong demonstration which bibigyan kayo ng topic or ng situation and then you have to act it. Okay? Yung role playing, it allows you to stimulate your creative thinking skills, okay, your level of awareness, your knowledge when it comes to cultural competencies. Bibigyan kayo ng scenario, okay, ng um, problem and then you're going to act it. Ano yung magiging solution mo or ano yung magiging actions mo when you encounter this kind of scenario? So for example, you are a front office agent in a certain hotel and then merong nag-walk-in na guest, a Korean guest. However, that Korean guest is not fluent in speaking English. Okay, so how are you going to accommodate that Korean guest? Okay, how are you going to understand them? Okay, so those are some of the scenarios uh that you can encounter when it comes to role playing. Okay? So another example ng role playing is um you are a waiter in a five-star restaurant and someone or the guest is asking if the menu has or have a halal offerings. Okay, so first things first, kailangan mo muna alamin what is halal. Okay, so what are you going to do with that? So those are some of the scenarios na pwede nating gawin or i-execute during the role-playing activities. So one of the benefits of role-playing activities is we get to experience, okay, um, the actual what do you call this situations, okay, and it allows us to check and dig ideas on how are we going to do it. So, na-experience natin siya on a first-hand basis. Next, case studies. When we say case studies naman, ang tatandaan nyo lang dito, there is a problem, okay, and you're going to solve it and find a solution or a strategies on how are you going to solve it. So, problem solving strategies. So, in a case studies, so the uh, organization or the workplace where you belong will give you a problem. So, for example, during lean season, most of your flight seats are not sold yet. So, mababa yung benta nyo, kukunti yung nagbubook. What are you going to do? How are you going to enhance or increase your sales? Okay, so you're going to do a case study analysis. What are the solutions that you're going to give to that problem? Okay, so you may comment your answer on the comment section. And lastly, group discussions or other term is FGD or the focus group discussion. When we say focus group discussions, exchanges of cultural experiences and perspectives to build respect and inclusivity. In short, you are brainstorming, you are sitting together, okay, nagkukwentuhan kayo, nag-uusap kayo, nagsha-share kayo ng mga thoughts and ideas nyo, okay, ng mga culture nyo, nag exchange kayo ng informations or knowledge. And by doing that, di ba, mas nabibuild yung trust, mas nabibuild yung respect, mas nabibuild yung knowledge and awareness when it comes to culture. So, now, what are the best practices in cross-cultural interactions? Okay, so ano ba yung mga best thing to do when we are communicating or interacting with different cultural backgrounds? First is the fundamentals, okay, or the basic thing that you always remember is show respect for cultural differences. Okay, if you want others to respect your culture, so as they. Okay, so you avoid making assumptions or stereotyping. Even though hindi mo pa naman siya nakakasalamuha, narinig mo lang sa ibang tao, you already created an assumptions. Or for example, nakakita ka ng katrabaho mo na madaming tattoo, 'di ba? Na isip mo na agad, ay siguro ano 'yan, galing 'yan sa kulungan. Ay siguro ano 'yan, bad influence 'yan. Or siguro ay nako, black sheep 'yan. Bakit hinar 'yan? Eh what if yung tattoos ay sign of art or expression, 'di ba? So don't make assumptions or stereotype. Next, learn and use culturally appropriate greetings, gestures, and forms of address. Okay? So, you have to know how to properly greet them, your body language, your facial expressions, the forms of addresses, kung ano ba yung mga dapat itawag natin sa kanila, ma'am, sir, or kapag nasa ibang bansa ka like Australia, France, first name basis lang sa kanila. So you should be aware on those kinds of things. Okay, or simple greetings on their language. 'Di ba? So those are the things that we need to um what you call this, study or acquire so that we can show respect for cultural differences. Next, practice active listening. 'Di ba? Sabi ko nga, 'di ba, I am always telling you, class, if you are communicating but you are not comprehending and you are not compromising, nothing will happen. Even you are talking and talking and talking multiple times, if yung kausap mo hindi naman niya iniintindi, okay, or hindi siya willing mag-meet halfway, then nothing will happen. That's why practice active listening is a must. Okay? You pay attention, hindi lang dun sa mga sinasabi niyang salita, but also to the tone and body language na pinoportray nung kausap mo. Halimbawa, nasa isang meeting kayo, and then you are joking to your one of co-employees or co-workmates, and nakita mo na hindi naman siya tumatawa, or yung facial expression niya nakakunot yung noo niya, 'di ba? So, but you still keep throwing jokes at him or her, 'di ba? So, you are not being mindful on your actions. Okay? Ibig sabihin, hindi siya natutuwa sa jokes mo. You stop. Do you get my point? Okay, so another example, you are in a meeting presentation, you are bidding for a project, you have uh, Indian nationality and Arab, okay, listening to you. On the first few slide, they are still listening. Pagdating ng fourth slide, all of them are using their cell phone. All of them are slouching at their chair. So what do we mean by that? Ibig sabihin, they are no longer interested. Your presentation is boring. What will you do? So you have to be mindful on those actions. Next, you avoid interrupting. Let other person fully express themselves. Okay? Halimbawa, nagsha-share sa'yo ng frustration yung katrabaho mo. Halimbawa, for example, John, I am very sad today because I did not hit the target, okay, for this month. Okay, I will not get the incentives. And then you will reply, ako nga eh. Kaya hindi, ako nga eh, kayang-kaya mo. 'Di ba? So you always allow them to speak and fully express themselves. Huwag mo siyang sapawan. Huwag mo siyang parang ini-invalidate mo yung feelings niya. Okay? Don't interrupt them. Just listen to them and empathize with them. Next, adapt communication styles. So you use clear, simple language to avoid misunderstanding. 'Di ba? Some of the uh, some of the people they are using highfalutin words, 'di ba? Sobrang lalalim na halos hindi mo na maintindihan. O kaya naman they are using jargons. Hindi naman lahat intindi ng mga technical terms on a specific industry. For example, in tourism and hospitality, tayong hospitality and tourism practitioners, we understand that PAX means passenger. Okay? But with other industry, okay, and not all of them, we do not assume. Okay? Always remember, we do not assume, we do not create assumptions. Hindi lahat naiintindihan na ang meaning ng PAX ay passenger. So you avoid using jargons. Okay? The simple, the sentence, the possible. Ang importante na itatransfer mo yung information na gusto mong i-transfer ng tama at malinaw doon sa kausap mo. Okay? You use simple language to avoid misunderstanding. Meron pa dyan, there are lots of students who are using deep words, okay? Highfalutin words, rendezvous, vis-a-vis, emulating. Pero pag pinag-explain mo naman, they cannot explain their own word in their own words or in their own understanding. Kasi nga hindi rin nila naiintindihan. Okay? So, the clearer, the simple, the better. So, adjust tone, adjust volume and body language based on cultural norms. Okay? If sa meeting nakita mo lahat seryoso sila, ikaw, wag kang magtatalon sa upuan mo. Okay? Or wag kang tap ng tap or lagi gumagawa ka ng body language na inappropriate for a given situation. Okay? So, you adapt their communication styles. And be open-minded and flexible. You always remember that your way is not only the right way. Hindi ikaw palaging taba. Hindi palaging yung sa'yo yung masusunod. Okay? So, you have to learn how to adjust. You have to accept that there is other solutions or there is other way aside from your way. So, instead na i-close mo yung doors mo when it comes to changes or when it comes to feedback or suggestions or dun sa narinig mo or nakita mo, you show curiosity kesa mag-judge ka. 'Di ba? If meron tayong na-encounter na unfamiliar sa atin or bago sa atin, then we do research. Okay, we ask questions. We explore. Because by doing that, mas lalawak yung kaalaman and knowledge natin when it comes to interactions with other people. Seek clarification when needed. 'Di ba? It is normal naman na not all the time ay naiintindihan natin yung directions or naiintindihan natin yung instructions. And walang mali sa pag-ask ng questions or sa pag-clarify. Okay? So, you ask questions if something is unclear. Okay? Because asking questions makes give you clear directions. Okay? So, ito pa, meron dito, nagpe-pretend na naintindihan niya kahit hindi naman. Okay? Tapos, kapag meron na yung output, dun lang sasabihin na hindi pala naintindihan. So, such a waste of time and effort. So, you better ask questions ahead of time. 'Di ba? Para mas maalay natin yung result natin and hindi masayang yung efforts natin. Next, practice cultural humility. So, dapat marunong tayong magpakumbaba. If we made mistakes, so we acknowledge that we are always learning. Okay? That sometimes we made mistakes and we do not mean it. That's why we ask sorry or we ask for forgiveness. And hindi lang nagtatapos dun sa pag-aas ng sorry or forgiveness. We should improve ourselves. And take note that so that next time hindi na natin siya uulitin. And gagawin na natin kung ano yung tama. Okay, so yun. Be willing to apologize if you intentionally offend. Now, how are we going to evaluate the effectiveness of cultural training? So, nagpa-training tayo, we provided budget, we exerted effort, we allocated our company's time. Now, paano natin malalaman na if yung training ba about cultural competency ay effective sa mga empleyado natin? So, first is magpa-pre and post-training assessments tayo. 'Di ba? So before the start of the training, give them exam or give them activity. And then after the training, give them the same set of scenarios and activities. And then you check, you evaluate, may nagbago ba? Is there a shifts in knowledge, awareness, and attitudes nung mga tinrain natin? Okay? That's why pre and post training assessments are essentials when it comes to competency training. Next, feedback forms and surveys. Okay? We have to collect participants' perspectives on training relevance, engagement, and clarity. So why do we need to ask for feedbacks? Why do we have to ask for their perspectives after the training? Anyone? You can comment your answer on the comment section. Okay, so we provide feedback forms and surveys because we ask for their insights, their recommendations, their suggestions, yung mga areas for improvement. Okay, ano ba yung mga natutunan nila? Okay ba yung speaker? Okay ba yung venue? Okay ba yung training outline? Okay, is it enjoyable yet educational? Okay, so those are some of the things that we need to ask after the training kasi it helps us enhance, okay, the training structure. Okay, kung yun ba ay effective, may naa-absorb ba sila? Next, behavior observations. May nagbago ba dun sa team interactions after the training? Before the training, yung mga empleyado laging nag-aaway, laging may conflict, laging may nagre-resign, ang taas ng turnover. After the training, naging okay ba yung behavior nila? Nagkasundo ba sila? Bumaba ba yung resignation ng mga employees? Tumaas ba yung productivity nila when it comes to collaborations? Okay? Are they hitting targets? Are they hitting their goals or objectives as a team? So those are some of the behavioral observations that we need to take in considerations. And lastly, syempre hindi natatapos sa training lang. Okay? Kailangan meron tayong sustainability. It should be continuous improvement. Okay? And dapat we set long-term indicators. We set measurements. We set targets. Other term for long-term indicators is key performance indicators. Ano ba yung mga dapat nating tingnan or i-measure? para makita natin kung yung mga trainings na ginagawa ba natin ay effective, okay, sa mga empleyado natin. Una, employee retention. Bumaba ba yung mga nagre-resign, komonti yung nagre-resign. Okay, ibig sabihin, yung mga empleyado ba ay tumatagal ng 5, 10 hanggang 10 years sa company dahil dun sa training na ginawa natin or ginawa nyo. Stronger teamwork and collaborations. Hindi na ba nag-aaway or nagtatalo yung mga empleyado? So, nagkaroon ba sila ng rapport or relationships, working relationships between one another? Next, konti na lang yung misunderstandings or conflicts when it comes to cultural background. So, kung dati nag-aaway sila kasi hindi sila magkaintindihan sa pag-uusap or dati nag-aaway sila kasi um, yung isa medyo sensitive, yung isa naman medyo offensive. So, or direct. So, nabawasan ba yon? Kasi mas nagkaintindihan sila when it comes to their cultural interactions. And tumaas ba yung customer service satisfaction from diverse clients? Kasi nga, mas tumaas yung productivity and mas na-enhance yung collaborations and efficiency ng mga workers or ng mga empleyado. That's why, ang result ba nun ay higher satisfactions when it comes to their customer. So these are some of the KPI or key performance indicators that you should take in consideration when setting, okay, your measurement when it comes to the effectiveness of cultural competency training. And that's the end of our discussion.